my surname is Murata, and my co-founder's surname is Sasaki, and combining together makes it Murasaki.
Okay.
It means purple in Japanese.
Oh,
So the
interesting.
context is I've been so we've been serial entrepreneur for like more than 10 years. I was working at a startup space in Japan and Asia. Also previously worked in as one of the managements of a football club in Belgium.
Okay.
I issued something called sports token, fan token. It's one of the first initiatives in the world back in 3 years ago. That was massive initiative, and our market cap is like reaching out $10 million. Even though we are very very small crop. Um, so our population is like 40,000 people in the town. But we've got a lot of like international like stakeholders, and like we manage the sort of like real events combining with like virtual events. So it was kind of like very very good experience for me, and just getting into crypto since then. So last year I decided to do something with crypto. Like I've been doing like a personal consultancy for 6 months, and decided to build a game with Sasaki, our co-founder. So a bit of a context. So Sasaki, a co-founder, has been like he founded a company called PokeRabble. It's a mobile gaming company. He's been producing a lot of games, like more than 30 titles, and he sold he sold PokeRabble for 140 million USD to the company called Gree.
Wow.
So yeah, he experienced a massive exit, and since then, like he's been acting as an angel investor. So the company, the startup, I worked as a director. He invested in our startup, so that was the beginning of the relationship. So since then, like we've been like friend. But found out the last year, like we both had a kind of a little bit break from the current jobs. Then we came together. Hey, why not? Like I'm in charge of blockchain and crypto, and you're in charge of the gaming, and why not we're creating like blockchain games? So that was the beginning of Murasaki. And also, we raised 1.5 million euros from the investors. They are Japanese as well. So here's a bit of context as well. So, our lead investor, Incubate Fund, is one of the biggest VCs in Japan. They invested in PokeRabble. Since their valuation is very small, and they made massive return out of it, out of the exits. And also the two followers, they're called Skyline Ventures and Mint. They invested in my previous startup as well. They made some returns already. So it's like since we are serial entrepreneurs, like it's like supporting the second challenge at the global level in the new industry with entrepreneurs with a record. So that's why so it's like a kind of like a Japanese ecosystem, startup ecosystem, like worked as a one circle, and it's like try to invest in the new like a generation, the people with experience. So that's kind of like the picture of how Murasaki has been operated so far.
Yes, it's a nice history, and it's cool how to see you guys brought your backgrounds, your expertise together to make this awesome project happen. And I think we all see this, right? When you really understand blockchain, you see it can be used in so many ways. Of course, some people will say, it's being used for stupid things. It's being used for wrong things, but so is the internet. So is just anything else in the world, right? The blockchain is just a tool, and as long as you know how to utilize it in a manner that can enhance whatever you're using, yeah, it's just a tool that you can use to
Yeah.
help out your company, yourself, or anything like that. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that background. And can you tell us a little bit about were there any hurdles starting this company? Right, I understand. Right, of course, you said it's Japanese based. You guys currently are in the Netherlands, right?
Mm.
And were there any hurdles maybe beginning this particular company, or I should say also, what are ways for new entrepreneurs trying to break into this GameFi space or just the blockchain space in general? What are some things that are hurdles that you dealt with, or things that people need to look out for, and maybe one of the easier ways to go about doing these things?
Mm. All right. Yeah. Talking about the hurdle or obstacles.
Mhm.
So, well, I'm fully Japanese, 100% Japanese, and as well as my co-founder. So, well, one of the positive reasons, like we found a company in Netherlands, like crypto is pretty much like the global space, so it doesn't really matter. So it's a beauty about blockchain, like it doesn't matter who you are and what your race and what your skin color is. Then like it doesn't really matter, as long as you are part of the network. You are part of the consensus building. That's the beauty of it. So that's why we've got a flexibility to found our company anywhere in the world. That's the positive reason. And the negative reasons, and then connecting to your question about hurdle. Yeah, so Japan has two major obstacles when it comes to regulations. Thing is that, so the first thing is, you taxation issues, like you're gonna be taxed based on nominal value of your token. So it means that if you issue 100 tokens today and tomorrow I buy your token, one token for $1 million, then your token's market cap is $100 million.
Wow.
So yeah, this means that you'll be taxed based on that. So even though you don't have a fiat currency, you'll be taxed like 30%. So like, yeah, you have to pay, you have to pay 30 million US dollars next year, like at the closing date of the fiscal year, even though you don't have any fiat currency. So it's not for startup at all. So the company's size has to be big to issue token, but even the big companies have a problem because auditors are not willing to audit like crypto assets in Japan. What could be the foreground, what could be interpreted in a certain way. So that's why the listed company needs to be audited. Yeah. So that's why. So regulation prevents the Japanese startup from issuing tokens, but whereas big companies cannot issue tokens because no auditors willing to interpret as a first runner of the crypto interpretation of the assets. So those are two contradictory situations. Like, so that's why as a startup, like we got to get out from Japan to found ourselves in the outside of Japan, which is okay though. I mean, like in terms of like human resource availability, like we locate ourselves, in a good way. So, but those are two major issues, when it comes to like Japanese regulations and taxations.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's timing, and of course, as we know, it's kind of push and pull as we're really seeing. Right, the U.S. just announced something on
Yeah.
cryptocurrencies literally the other day. Right, we know China has a CBDC. Everybody's starting to roll out, so it's kind of like this tug of war. They clearly like crypto governments. We can tell. It's just they want to implement it at their pace, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of what you guys were able to do, right? Just be able to move headquarters in Netherlands, still be able to work with people in Japan. Like you said, you're amazing. Congratulations, 1.5 million. Right, still being able to work with them wherever. So yeah, that's the beauty of blockchain, right? We know you can just move to where it is, where it is allowed, and keep it rolling.
That's right.
So yeah, I would love to continue to know a little bit more about Murasaki, and but first, what are some of the things that you think blockchain specifically adds to the gaming space, right? Because some people say, right, we already kind of have metaverses in a sense. Right? I mean, Fortnite and Call of Duty, and all these things, right? You buy these skins, buy these particular weapons, buy even, I haven't played them in a while, but I'm sure you can buy like plots of little like land and stuff like that, right? So a lot of Roblox, of course, that's kind of a thing. And some people say like they wouldn't want to give that up. Or so what are the ways that maybe blockchain can enhance gaming that you see, and maybe the future of blockchain gaming and gaming in general?
Okay, so just to be clear, I think in my position, blockchain is nothing to do with metaverse. So there are two different things, but they are relevant. So I'm gonna explain why. So so the things like blockchain can give to the gaming world is a certain flexibility for the players, and a certain flexibility for the builders to build an ecosystem. So what I mean is that in a centralized situation, so you as a provider and operator, it's like you always have to set the course and narrative of the how people play. But it's in the broader sense, like if you're playing Pokemon or Final Fantasy, you don't always have to, like breed and train your monster or like train yourself to beat the evil, like or dragon. It's not always the case in the blockchain, but instead you buy all the portion in the market, and you can be portion broker instead of just train yourself. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, you don't need to just try aim your best, but like you can buy like all the portions, or like if there are certain items, need to forge the brave sword, for example, you can buy like all of them, like those who need the item, like everybody comes to you and say like, hey, like can you just make it cheaper a little bit, that you can increase the price as well. So the flexibility of the play is limitless with the blockchain, because because you are the owner of the network, like it's up to you like how you want to play. So like you can be portion broker, you can be item broker, for example, or like there's a people called like breeder DAO. So like they buy all the like breedable NFTs in the market. So like they breed and they aim for like rare NFTs. So that's part of the gameplay, instead of just trying aim for like beat dragons or evils. So my point is, the blockchain gives certain flexibility of the the expand the meaning of the playing game, and it is much wider than the metaverse graphical user interface. But imagine the graphical user interface of the metaverse is coming together with the flexibility of the gameplay. This comes to the whole lot of ecosystem already. So the issue is, if you want to start with the expansion of the gameplay or the graphical expansion of the gameplay, so these are two different things. Like Fortnite is already metaverse enough, but in terms of the gameplay, Axie Infinity is in the sense wider than how people play Fortnite. So those are two different things.
And it really is. We recently spoke with a company that's also kind of getting into the GameFi space, and that was also something they mentioned was, the blockchain allows you to put some real world utility onto it, and especially in this world where everything is on the internet and people are doing gaming for a living, play to earn. It's becoming much bigger than I think a lot of people think it is. Some people think it's kind of small, but I mean, you look at people playing video game tournaments and making millions of dollars winning these tournaments, Play to earn is right around the corner, and it's going to be a huge space, and it's also very inclusive, It allows people that just have at least the internet connection, or being able to access maybe some other things like just an NFT or anything regarding to the game, It gives them a whole other access to a metaverse, but even it can enhance their life, as we know. as long as we use these things for the right way, right? Even gaming can be fun and enhancing to lives.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is like your game doesn't have to be closed within your application. What does that mean is that so you and me are different game providers, for example, and I can make a quest, I can make a quest which allow people to play your game and clear the certain quest on your side. Then you can, like as a player, you can get the item on my game, because it's blockchain. So like I can easily detect the player has the playing history on your game, and it triggers the other game saying that, oh yeah, you clear this game, from Brian. Then I can give you this item as a result. That is possible. So this is the beauty of blockchain. It's a permissionless, and seamlessly connecting to the other chain. So we can easily detect on-chain transaction. So again, the definition of the gameplay expanded. So that is a future possibility, I think. So the graphic comes later, but the concept comes first. So the expansion is the whole lot of meaning of the blockchain games.
Yes, and that's great too, because part of like gaming experience is that you don't want to have somebody scam you within the game, right? And that's when you get something that you think is this and it's not, especially with how games are evolving, and it really is kind of these kind of open worlds where you can communicate with almost anyone at once, right? And yeah, I remember playing video games a while ago, and like when I was younger, and yeah, there would be times where I was, of course, younger and naive, and there would be those people that were scamming you at the the little exchanges in the game. So right, that's great to be able to see that this next generation, hopefully with blockchain, they're not going to be getting scammed with what they buy from these exchanges, right? But yeah, so please tell us a little bit more about Murasaki, and I'm saying that correct, right? Murasaki.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And excuse me. Yeah. So what makes Murasaki unique, and also what's kind of your thing that you're trying to set yourself different in the GameFi space?
Okay. So Murasaki is a game studio developing multiple different titles. So we are working on the first title called Cyber Stella. So Cyber Stella is all about like we start as an idle game, but a lot of like gaming possibilities. So the reason is that like as a result of gameplay, you get some like gaming asset like NFTs. So just a little explanation here. So we've got economic models. So these are the characters you can buy in our marketplace on inside. Like once you get those characters, like they have different rarities: common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. So with this, you play our title, and then you gain some gaming assets, like a utility token or NFT, rare NFTs.
Awesome.
But with this, you can buy some roles, or like you can buy some rights in our own manga series or anime series, or like some illustrations.
Okay.
So what does that mean is that, so I'll show you. So our manga series, will be published next Monday on Twitter.
Soon. Congrats. Yes.
Yeah. So if you are the owner of this lady NFT, and so we disclose, like here's what we're working on. So like your NFT is more than welcome to join. So if you are the owner of NFT, you invest our utility token to our manga series. And so once the manga series is completed, we're gonna put it on the marketplace as an NFT. So then, as a result of the gameplay, like with the utility token people earning, people start spending on the manga series, and as the part of the as the asset owner within the manga series, you always get some part of the revenue share,
Wow.
out of the sales of Manga series. So like when you are selling your NFT, if that is the case, you're not only selling the image of NFT, but you're also selling the revenue stream of your NFT, it's coming from Manga series. So well, we want to create the gaming IP. So it sounds like you're not only selling the NFTs, but it's like a Marvel superheroes, and like the Sony Pictures buying Spider-Man's rights, from Marvel, for example, something like that. So so the all the revenue stream is coming together, but it can be seamless, because there's no like a complexity about the contract or they like a details definitions of the revenues, like where like Marvel Studio has only allowed to have the revenues from the goods, like physical goods, whereas everyone else is enjoying sort of like a massive revenue out of movies. So nothing's complicated because it's smart contract. Like once the ownership address moved, the revenue stream comes together.
Exactly.
So that is basically the overview. So we can do like we can appoint anime studio or like illustrators, all those things, coming together as your own IP value. Then it's like the your IP value will be increased, based on the creations like between Murasaki and yourself.
Wow, that's awesome. That is amazing. So I guess two things there, and maybe this will be a two-part question, or we'll figure it out. But before I forget it, so people, you're a studio, so people can come on and build on your platform, and then maybe even create NFTs as well through you all.
It's more like we can appoint our manga studio or artist, then so we discard the rough sketches, like here's A character, here's a B character, here's a hero, here's a villain, there's a mob character, and you can buy the rights of those characters as an NFT owner.
Okay.
And once the manga series disclosed, we, as Murasaki, we are going to put it on the marketplace, and like if everybody like once it's uploaded, everybody can buy them, as with our utility token. Then so the as a part of the, like, if you are the owner of Hero, for example, like you get 20% of the revenue stream out of the manga sales. That's the thing.
That's really cool, right? And it's inclusive with the readers and of course the participants, and that's something that we really, really only see with blockchain, right? Like when have we ever had something like this? Right. I mean, it's something that I think a lot of people. I know some artists that do some really great art, and I do know some artists in the blockchain space as well that, of course, see this amazing thing occurring. But it can be used in so many different spaces, whether it's music, it's physical art, it's obviously animated art is one of the easiest ways to go into it, right? As we've seen with like people and some of these other digital artists. But yeah, it's amazing to be able to add that extra utility for the community, right? And also, I saw your timeline. I see there's many more things coming with your token, excuse me, the token that will be released coming out soon. Can you please tell us a little bit more about that particular token, and then maybe some of the other things that you're adding for your community? Because I think, as we know in blockchain, right, as long as you have like a really strong community backing, there's some very small crypto projects that have been surviving for a long time, and while other ones got really big and now they're down to zero and they're trying again, right? So it's really just how strong that community is, and what you can do to build, right, that utility for the token or for whatever it is that's in that ecosystem.
So right, in terms of utility or utilities of token and NFT, so we are looking at two different angles. So first of all, to build a sustainable community, I think it's very important to have like ecosystem. So it's like a country or state, where you buy you buy visa to join, a country,
Right.
like it's like an NFT, yeah. But if you can, if you can't be, if you can't live there, because you can't earn that much, like you can't sell that much. If there's no economy ecosystem, like healthy economy, like the game or like ecosystem is not sustainable. So that's the whole thing about it. So like we set up the like a multiple different burning system. So burning is very important, because you need to set up the consumption mechanism within the ecosystem. So like not only you can earn, because like if you earn and earn and earn, it's like there should be like hyperinflation. The number of individuals, and the amount of the monetary base should be equalized, all the time. So that's why the inflation today is happening as well in the real world, but the same thing can easily happen in blockchain as well. So yeah, so we are preparing like the multiple different burning system within ecosystem. So make sure like the people can earn and spend, to create the more valuable asset, and the value of NFT should be maintained as well. So like we are introducing like NFT burning mechanisms as well. So
Okay.
yeah, those are the things we are working on. So one of the things, so we're not like a paying, influencers or KOLs to attract more people, because they are only bots, and bots bring bots or giveaway hunters. It's a
Yes.
fake community. So people talk about community, but there are only like few projects like really trying to build community. But instead,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, yeah, they're aiming for like whitelist giveaways. They're just putting incentives, but incentives just people coming with incentives. If the incentive is gone, like they leave.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
There are
true.
no fans. Yeah, there are no fans. So our approach is like totally opposite. So instead of just doing whitelist and then giveaway, we need more fans in our community. And since we are making a fan based community, so we don't need like 100,000 bots or giveaway hunters, but instead we only need 1,000 human beings like who are interested in our game to begin with.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we are setting up ecosystem based on that assumption, and also based on that sort of let's say necessity of the economy, because like we don't need to like rapidly expand, because it's gonna be there's going to be a hyperinflation very soon, because the emission of the token is too much. But instead, we want to have the slow takeoff. So we operate with the activation costs, like make sure like there's a certain number of people are joining our ecosystem.
Yes. Yeah, and wait, that's the way to do it. It's very organic because, like you're saying, it's Twitter and I mean, yes, crypto specifically. There's a lot of bots and all these people. Hey, give me 5,000 Bitcoin, I'll give you 100,000 Bitcoin. What?
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's also that in the regular space. But yeah, it's unfortunate because of course crypto is so new. And, blockchain is a foreign concept to many, so they're really susceptible to these people that are trying to get them and of course take advantage of them, right? So best way to do it, right, is to build that community, people that you can trust, people that you can learn from, and that definitely seems like what you guys are doing at Murasaki, and yeah, it really, and especially I should say the utility, right? It's not just buy our crypto like you're saying and watch it go up, because as we know, right, markets, everything, what goes up comes down, it evens out. You'd rather have nice, slow growth like you guys are, trying to produce for yourself, and steady, right? That wins the race for sure. So yeah, thank you again for taking the time to speak today. I know you mentioned that the anime series is coming out next Monday, correct?
I mean, manga series, yes. Comic book. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Please let us know a little bit more about what else is coming out pretty soon, and also the social media tags that we can follow yourself and Murasaki at.
Yeah. So like Manga series will be out, and it's totally available for free from next Monday. Middle of November, we starting the starter package sales, which includes the 3 NFTs, different rarities, which includes the privilege to play the test play. So like with a test play, you can already start earning, some virtual currencies. So it's gonna be realized whenever whenever the game is going live in February. So December and January, like we're gonna launch multiple launch pad. So you can still buy NFTs and tokens there as well. So in January, the listing is expected in a central exchange or decentralized exchange, like multiple different exchanges. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That's great. And yeah, and I love the aspect. I've heard of some people getting into like crypto comics or anime, manga, but the way that you guys are doing it is certainly very unique. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all grow and checking out next Monday. Look really everything sounds really exciting, and as I've been working in the space for about a year, so just seeing it develop and seeing a lot of these strong projects. A lot of projects unfortunately failed, but in the bear market, we're seeing these really great, strong projects come up to life, and ones that are focusing on the community like you all. So again, thank you so much, Shin, and hopefully talk to you soon.
Thanks for taking the time for me.